When it comes to the toss, there are 3 different ways for your arm to go up towards the release. You can have your toss arm go up parallel to the baseline. You can have it go up diagonally into the court, or you can have it go up straight forward. The most used toss arm style on both the WTA and the ATP Tour is the diagonal toss arm technique. The second most used style is the parallel toss arm technique, and the least used style is the forward toss arm technique. Now, some players that use this style are more commonly found on the WTA Tour. The ATP Tour, a player that you might remember, Robin Söderling, had a forward toss arm technique. So this is definitely not a wrong way to toss the ball, because if you look at the Menchik toss mechanics, they are extremely clean. He keeps his arm straight, he has a perfect release, and he has a very consistent toss. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with his toss. However, certain things are going to be impossible to do when you utilize a forward toss arm technique. So some players will coil early in their service motion. Just remember Pete Sampras or John McEnroe, they have an early coil. So when players have an early coil, they have to toss the ball parallel to the baseline. If you try to coil early and toss the ball in here, this would be impossible to execute from a biomechanical standpoint. As you coil early, that left side of your body turns with the right side. So while the forward toss arm technique is not wrong, there are some limitations that you're going to find in the loading position. So if your toss arm is traveling forward upon the release, and then you get into your tilt with your arm still in that same direction, you're going to have limitations how far you can coil. So the minimal amount of coil is having the elbow in that trophy phase or trophy position to be aligned with your torso. This is the minimal amount that you need. Now, when the elbow goes slightly behind the body, this is adequate. Now, an optimal coil is a position where the elbow is way outside the body, which is usually accompanied with more of a turn of the upper body as well, where the chest is actually pointing backwards. Now, very rarely you're going to see players with an extreme coil where the chest is pointing directly to the back fence, a la John McEnroe. So there is a range of how much coiling there is on a serve. And because Menchik has a forward toss arm technique, his coil is adequate, but it's not optimal. And now you're thinking, hey Nick, could he get more MPH if he coiled more? Not necessarily. This is a style that he used from day one. And it is possible that if he tried to coil more, he would actually get less power. The serve is very complex and there are many moving parts. And coiling a lot is not a fundamental element of the serve, it's a stylistic element. And that's why I call this amount of coil that Menchik has an adequate amount of coil. Because what is the advantage of a coil? You're going to get more rotation into the contact. So of course, when you're extremely turned like John McEnroe, you're going to get a lot of rotation into the contact. If you're minimally coiled up with your chest towards the side fence and your elbow in line with the body, something that you see on the ATP Tour, but you see it a lot on WTA Tour, you still get quite a lot of range of motion regarding the rotation into the contact. And of course, if you do it like Menchik does it and your elbow is slightly behind the body, you're going to get even a tad more rotation. So this is an adequate amount and it's still going to allow you to serve with a tremendous amount of power. Now, what happens with a lot of players, especially the ones that can't naturally execute a serve with a large amount of coiling, is that end up not rotating all the way. They end up making contact behind it. They get all kinds of problems on the serve, such as an accidental slice. So if you are trying to get more power by coiling more, you have to do it so that it suits you, because every serve is going to be different regarding the amount of coil that it requires. But remember that you need an adequate amount of coil, and that is to about right here.